Hey guys, it's Chief from skolgamingyt. Welcome to another MLB Perfect Inning 2018 video, and welcome to Team Review Saturday, Episode 2. Episode 1 did reasonably well, so we're going to do an Episode 2. Today I'm going to review 3 teams, the teams of KELTON123456786, Marcd, and Brewcrewnotpoo. So without further ado, let's jump right into things. The first team we'll look at is the team of Marcd. We do just have kind of the overview picture here, but we should be able to work with that pretty well. Looking at his starters, he's got Madison Bumgarner +5, Zach Greinke +3, Max Scherzer +4, Kershaw +3, Tanaka +4. Bullpen, he's got Boxberger +5, Brad Brach +4, Jim Johnson +1, Tyler Clippard +1, Tony Watson +5, and Craig Kimbrell +3. For his batters, he has a +7 Matt Duffy, +1 Mike Trout, +3 Bryce Harper, +5 Chris Davis, +10 Jose Altuve, +5 David Peralta, +8 Kevin Pillar. I believe that's a +8 Jonathan Lucroy, +2 Xander Bogaerts. Then on the bench, +1 Robinson Cano, +1 Ichiro Suzuki, +3 Jason Hayward, +2 Martin Prado, and a +1 Jose Bautista. So with that in mind, there's no bad set on this team at this point. So I guess one of the first things I'd recommend, the guys who are still +1, if you can push them to +2, which will have a 100% success rate, then you'll have 25 guys +2 or higher, and that will give all of your players a +1 overall boost with that badge. Because you have 6 players who are still +1s. And while certainly they are some of the more expensive players on your team, by no means are you not able to get those guys to +2. Just, grinding the game for a week or two at most. Besides that, looking at your starting pitchers, 3 righties, 2 lefties, all pretty similar in overall range. I believe they have at least decent, if not great, pitch mixes, some variety there. Those are all good players to have, for sure. Another thing I'm noticing, all those green dots mean you can train those players. Training those players, if you have the training points, even just doing it once is going to provide small statistical boosts. So there really is no reason not to try that. Looking at the bullpen, that closing pitcher, the 2013 WAR Craig Kimbrell, is an absolute beast. I don't remember the exact pitches he has on his card, but I know that's the Craig Kimbrell with the most pitches of any of the Kimbrell cards. I mean, Kimbrell's just a nasty pitcher to try to face, so that's a really nice card. I'm a big fan of the Tony Watson card. I don't think I have him on my team currently, but I used him in Perfect Inning Live. I'm probably going to be wrong about saying this, but I feel like I had him on my team for at least 3 or 4 months. I always loved and felt good about using that pitcher in-game, so I like both of those cards. I don't necessarily know about Tyler Clippard or Jim Johnson, to be honest with you. I mean, with Clippard, he has low velocity, and his feature pitches are a 4-seamer, cutter, slider, and changeup, where having velocity would be kind of nice. Jim Johnson does have better velocity and better graded pitches. He has the 4-seamer, 2-seamer, changeup, and curveball. So Jim Johnson, not too bad. Tyler Clippard, I would recommend getting a reliever. If you want that similar pitch mix still, just someone with better velocity. Or go with somebody with a lower velocity, or it might even be higher than a 68. But with that, the card would also hopefully have a better pitch mix. Brad Brach, I'm pretty sure he has a nasty splitter. Not a bad idea to have that card. If you face a splitter cheeser, you can use it. And I did want to take a look at that Brad Boxberger. 4-seamer, changeup, cutter, slider, and curveball. So very similar to that Tyler Clippard card. Better velocity, nice command. 98 stuff is really lethal too. So I like that Brad Boxberger. I think that kind of confirms my idea that you could probably replace Tyler Clippard with somebody And looking at your bullpen, you have 1 lefty, 5 righties. I'd recommend putting a lefty in instead of Tyler Clippard. Get a little bit more balance there. As for the batting order, I'm going to look at this Matt Duffy first. Not much power, but decent contact and pretty dang good defense. 94 speed. You don't find that too often at third base. And you can get creative and stick him at short, second, or first, although he has F-grade defense there. If you need to pinch hit, which based on your benchmark D, it looks like you are pinch hitting at least sometimes. Having the position versatility is a good weapon to have. Mike Trout's Mike Trout. Good contact, decent power. Not the best defender, but a solid card for sure. Now for a similar price, I might recommend, and it's not on the market currently to be perfectly clear and honest with you, a +3 of his 2015 WAR card. S-grade defense, 98 for both contacts. The contact drops slightly, but 98 power is certainly better. 87 speed is a slight drop-off. 95 fielding and 83 throwing are the main attractors, though. Still not the greatest outfield arm, but it would be better. And again, S-grade defense will make him less error-prone. Additionally, it helps get your team to all +2s. 2015 Bryce Harper, that is a beast of a card. Not going to question that. Chris Davis can absolutely rake. Jose Altuve, yeah, absolute contact monster, speed demon. Power's not the greatest, but that's okay because he's going to get on base consistently with great speed. I would recommend putting him in the leadoff spot, get him on base, let him run around, but an absolute beast of a card for sure. David Peralta, I know he can hit well, defend well. Kevin Pillar, probably a defensive whiz. May not be the greatest hitter, but that still looks like a decent card. The Stars, Jonathan Lucroy, it's either a +8 or a +9. Hitting stats are honestly pretty poor. Defensively, not that bad of a card. What I would recommend for an upgrade is 2013 WAR Yadier Molina. 103 field, 103 throw, the same A-grade defense. Hitting stats are pretty similar on the surface. Lucroy was worth, $1.8 billion or more. For $1.1 billion, look at that. 109 field, 109 throw. Hitting stats clearly better. Just a thought. Then award winner Xander Bogaerts. Good contact, not the best power, but a good defender at shortstop. As for the bench, Cano, probably a power bat. Suzuki, probably contact and speed, maybe some defense. Hayward, probably contact and defense as well. I would switch out either Suzuki or Hayward just because you have 2 right fielders on the bench with very similar skill sets. It's kind of redundant. You also have Jose Bautista, who's another right fielder, but he is a power bat, and he can also be slotted in at center field or first base. And while that might not be advisable, it's a very good hitting and defending card off the bench. And finally, 2012 WAR Martin Prado, backup left fielder. He can also play some of the infield positions. I have this card on my bench personally. It's a great bench weapon to have. So Marcd, not too bad of a team. I would recommend, again, getting players up to +2, replacing either Suzuki or Hayward, probably with a backup middle infielder or a backup center fielder. Again, replacing Clippard with a lefty, and then maybe swapping out Mike Trout for his WAR edition of the card. That being said, Marcd, very good team. Not too much to worry about. Just some little nitpick upgrades that could take your team to the next level at a reasonable price point. Up next is KELTON123456786. Looking at his team, his starting pitchers, 4 of them +3s, and then the contract year Max Scherzer, all in the 91 to 93 range, not too bad. 1 lefty, 4 righties. Then looking at the bullpen, 4 lefties and 2 righties, so the balance kind of works out. Jansen going to be a power reliever. That Bastardo card has a nice pitch mix. I had fun with him for a while. That Racine, also a great player. Joe Smith with the funky sidearm stuff is a good option as well. Brad Hand, maybe not the best pitch mix, but he's kind of just a good, not spectacular, but really solid bullpen option, so I'm not going to question that too much. And then 2012, Jeremy Blevins, 96 base stuff. It's going to be hard to hit his pitches very well, so that's another great bullpen option. In terms of team deck, this team is a bit further away from having all +2s or higher. Certainly getting to all +2s or higher would be a good goal to have. I'm not necessarily going to expect that or any other type of team deck for this team. From the hitting lineup, I wanted to look at that Jose Reyes. Unbalanced contact, good speed, decent defense. Personally, I would prefer the 2014 WAR card. Maybe not as much power, but better balanced contact, slightly less speed, but slightly more defense. Michael Brantley, I'm still kind of salty he made the All-Star game. That's a good card. Miguel Cabrera, his card's absolutely rake. Chase Utley, that's a really good hitting card. 89 speed too, that's actually a really nice card, I'm not going to lie. Defense is tolerable. I can see why that card is on your team. Salvador Perez, I'm going to assume that's one of the better defending cards of his. Jay Bruce, at a +4. I would recommend getting a Giancarlo Stanton or Aaron Judge card, but this card isn't too bad for the time being. Then McCutchen and Harrison probably have unbalanced contacts that kind of counter each other. Harrison with position versatility, not a bad player to have. And McCutchen probably has some speed and or pop, so not a bad card either. On the bench, that 92 Ozzie Albies card, honestly, I would rather have his 85 Live SC card. Better speed, better hitting. Well, 103 field and throw is nice. D-grade defense versus S-grade defense. I'd take the S-grade with lower stats. Adrian Gonzalez, a good contact hitting first baseman. 2017 Mike Trout is actually a really good budget option as strictly a pinch hitter. Decent contacts, 97 power. Not the best defender, but if you're using him just for his bat, not a bad choice at all. And then finally, 2 third basemen, both an 87 Justin Turner from 2016 and then an 87 Nolan Arenado from 2015. Personally, I would keep the Arenado and switch out the Turner for someone else because Turner's positions first and third are covered by Arenado and by Adrian Gonzalez. The Arenado card is better than the Turner in my opinion, as is the Gonzalez. Yeah, Kelton also has a pretty solid team. So now we'll get on to the team review of Brewcrewnotpoo. Team overview, he has all +7 or higher. I would have thought as a Brewers fan that he would have more Brewers than he does, but he's not too close to any specific team for a team deck, so I'm not going to recommend that for him at this time. What I will do is I'll take a look at who he has. He's normally in the top 100 for ranks head-to-head, so him having that Hector Santiago is almost a must, as is having the Beast Juris Familia. That Justin Wilson card he's spoken highly of. I used to use a Justin Wilson, and he was a solid reliever, not spectacular for me, but definitely good. I know he strikes out over 2 batters an inning with that Jeremy Jeffress card, so I'm not going to question that. Tommy Hunter, a bunch of velocity, makes sense. And Matt Albers, I don't know too much about him. But again, if you're in the top 100 of ranks head-to-head, I can't question your team very much. As for starters, John Lester, with both the sinker and curveball, I love John Lester cards. Sonny Gray, better card in-game than real life probably, but that's a nice card. Steven Strasburg probably has reasonably high velocity, should be another good card. I do want to look at the Garrett Richards card, 100 stuff, 89 velocity, decent command and break too, 6-pitch mix. I see why that card is on his team. Then 09 Brett Anderson, a little bit of a cheaper option, similar 6-pitch mix, decent command break and stuff, 81 velocity. I respect Brewcrewnotpoo saying, I'm going to stick with a similar pitch mix, all my pitchers, and just ride it for what it is. And as I suspected, that Strasburg is an absolutely nasty card, 106 stuff, 91 velocity. For his batting lineup, that Jonathan VR, an absolute monster with contact and speed. Not too much power, but his team is based on contact. That is a great card. That Jose Ramirez has a frustrating combo of hitting and speed. And A-grade defense is not too bad. He doesn't have the most power, but that is a really frustrating card to have as an opponent of his at third base. He has the utility man Zobrist at first base, which is kind of interesting, but makes sense because he has the nice Paul Goldschmidt on the bench who could pinch hit for one of these other guys, and then Zobrist can slide around almost anywhere. Zobrist has good hitting stats and good speed, so in terms of a contact speed theme, he's kind of a weapon to put at first base. I'm not totally sure which Bryce Harper that is from 2015. I'm going to assume the fact that displays as a 104 overall, or I was going to assume, but they're both pretty close. Either way, really good contact. Power over 100 is not too bad either. Defense might not be the greatest, but it's tolerable for a great contact power combo in right field. Then Robbie Cano can absolutely rake. Not the fastest, neither is Harper, but that's okay. Christian Yelich, a lot of contact, not too much power, good fielding, decent throwing, and decent speed. Yeah, there's not many holes in that card. Now with Michael Brantley in center field, good contact, not much power, decent speed, 96 shield, 89 throw, but D-grade defense. I would recommend getting a true center fielder for Brewcrewnotpoo. Then Brian McCann, 105 field, 106 throw. Not the worst catcher. And with S-grade defense, Brewcrewnotpoo probably knows this McCann better than I would. If I had to make an honest recommendation, I would again recommend that Yadier Molina. If you push him to a +7, A-grade defense, but 111 field, 111 throw. Contact about the same, power slightly less. That's just my personal thought. As for the bench, Paul Goldschmidt, an absolute beast in terms of contact, power, speed, and tolerable defense at first base. I would maybe consider starting him over Zobrist, although Zobrist does have really nice hitting stats on that card of his. Matt Holliday, an absolute beast of a bat off the bench as well. Miguel Montero, it's good to have a backup catcher. D. Garden, probably a great pinch runner. Let's take a look at that. Yeah, a good budget speed guy, 105 speed on the base paths, and at a price of $350 million, very affordable. Then Adam Jones, who doesn't have as much contact as Brantley, but would be a better defensive center fielder. You know, maybe he subs in for Brantley after Brantley hits, although having Brantley hit 7th in the order would be kind of strange. Then 2010 Jason Hayward, a good defensive replacement in right field for the late innings, and decent hitting stats as well. So yeah, for Brewcrewnotpoo, the only real recommendations I would have is 1, replace Brantley with a real center fielder, and 2, maybe try to upgrade from Brian McCann at catcher. But again, he's in the top 100 for ranked head-to-head. This is a very nice team, and if he knows how to use it and he can play well with it, who am I to question who he puts on the team for the most part? I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I know it was a little longer, but I'm wanting to review 3 teams a week. So if you enjoyed it, leave a like. If you're new around here, subscribe for more MLB Perfect Inning 2018 content. In the comments, let me know if you want to have your team reviewed for a future week and a future episode. I know I already have teams booked for the next 2 weeks and part of the 3rd week. Well, get people scheduled as I can going forward. Ultimately, you will want to DM me too, just so I can see your team, because how I'm trying to do it is have teams of different calibers on the same week, not have 3 super similar teams all in 1 week, so there's a little bit of variety. And information on how to DM me is in the description. Twitter, Instagram, Discord, or Google Hangouts are all the best options there. Well, that's going to just about do it for this video, guys. I'm G from Skolgamingyt. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, as always, peace out.